Hey there guys, and welcome to my video. I am the Gacha Grump and I have returned. I have been away mainly for two different reasons. At the beginning, from when that video went up last, I fell ill. It was a little bit rough, so I felt pretty ill. I've not been on, I didn't go to work because I was throwing up. And now I am and I've since then had internet issues where the internet kept going down. I couldn't record because it'd go down, I'd lose recordings, I'd lose halfway through a recording, the internet would go, so I'd disconnect from the servers of the Wuthering Waves, the Wuthering Waves server, I should say. And yeah, so that's just a quick live update. So today I want to talk about my experience with the Cartethyia and how I've ended up with an S6 version. I know, sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's true. So, I initially had full intention of pulling Cartethyia. I wanted her weapon as well because her weapon is unique, as I will show you soon, specifically to her, and it is not a great free-to-play option because it is not going to flex well onto other characters like the Red Spring from Camellia, who could basically be used with any sword user and be fantastic. Cartethyia is not like that by any means. As we can see, absolutely lovely animations in the background. She has some of the best in the game. One of the reasons I wanted to pull her, whether it's this one where she's dreaming, look at the beautiful dream wave background, or we could look at her little puppets when she's talking with mini Cartethyia and the Threnodian. But yeah, for now let's go into like my Cartethyia. So stats pretty generic, I need to get them better, had no luck so far. So I'm going to give my thoughts on Cartethyia and where do I think you should pull her, how many copies, her weapon, would I recommend sequence 6. So her weapon is something where if you are going to main Cartethyia, obviously if you're going to main any character, their weapons are usually worth it, but specifically to Cartethyia, her other option, she can use the Emerald of Genesis or the Red Spring and they're good on her. But while the crit stats are good, she does really like HP, and having 72.2% HP, even with the lower attack on Defire's Thorn, the reason she has such a low attack on it is because she doesn't scale off attack, she scales off of HP. This is why the HP percentage is so inflated, and the 412 attack is similar to that of a 4-star weapon, I believe. Like a maxed out 4-star weapon, as we can see, like in the standard 5-star. Brant's is 412 again because it's inflated by the energy regen and he uses a lot of flat attack from the energy regen. Again there. Emerald of Genesis, a standard 5-star weapon, has 587, sorry. So you can see the colossal difference. Like 412 is the 4-star weapon equivalent. And yeah, it has that. Don't be fooled. She makes up for it with HP. The effect as well increases for Free Night Stantrella, which I believe is the Fleur-de-Lis upgrade, by 12%, 50%, 15 seconds after casting an intro or basic attacks. Ignore 8% of the target's defense when dealing damage. This is a constant uptime, you're ignoring 8% of the target's defense. If the target has at least one stack of aero erosion, the damage taken is amplified by 20%, so it's up to 28% constantly. Basically with this is going to be very easy, especially with Cartethyia in teams with Konya and Rover era specifically. But I'm going to go over ways in which my Cartethyia will not need them. As you can see, look down the right side here, I have not pulled Konya. I do not really use Aero Rover, mine still Havoc. I have my Cartethyia as a one-woman army, effectively. And basically she likes, with this, Forte Circuit, Normal Attack, Resonance Lib, they're her strongest. She comes with inbuilt crit, so that is 4% crit on either side, up to 8. Comes with HP as standard, obviously, because, you know, she scales a lot off it. She wants around 50k, basically. And now I want to go over this. Effectively, I had only planned to get a 3-star. Her 1-star, I shouldn't say stars, her 1 sequence is fine. Her 3 is where her power hits its peak before it just gets into overkill status, and I will go through it with you just to show you. So her first basically grants her a buff called Zeal whenever Cartethyia or Fleur-de-Lis attacks directly with deals direct damage, effectively non-air erosion if she hits the target with her blade effectively, and defeats the targets with arrow erosion on them. In the seal state, upon defeating enemies, the next move that directly damages So basically your Resonance Lib, attack, blah blah blah, raises the Arrow Erosion stacks on the target to the highest count among the defeated. So if you defeated 4 enemies, one had 1, one had 2, one had 1, one had 4, she will apply the 4 stacks onto that next target. In that next attack, or the targets in that next attack. This will not exceed the current max erosion stack. So basically, if your max erosion stack limit is 3, which is standard, if you have 4, it cannot go above that. Basically, there is ways it goes above that, but I will tell you. Yep, this will not exceed the current max erosion stack. Zeal is removed afterward and enters a 1-second cooldown. When Fleur-de-Lis's Conviction hits, Conviction is effectively Fleur-de-Lis's special bar. When she's transformed from Cartethyia into Fleur-de-Lis, Conviction is the bar that fills before she can use her Resonant Liberation Howling Squall. Effectively, as that builds 30, 60, 90, 120, so every quarter, Fleur-de-Lis's crit damage is increased by 25% up for 15 by 25% for 15 seconds, up to 4 stacks. Again, a stack on each. The duration effect is not reset upon new stacks, so effectively they're all independent stacks. If you get 1 at 15, that goes down to 10, and you get your next. It's 15 and 10. Get 2 seconds afterwards. It's 8, 13, 15. It doesn't reset, obviously. This builds up the stack, so you want to get up to 4 stacks, then cast her Resonance Liberation for an extra 100% crit damage. This buff is removed after casting Blade of Howling Squall. Her second one is really good as well. This is where her power starts climbing very exponentially. Casting Resonance Liberation and Its Heartfelt Prayers. This is her Cartethyia's Resonance Liberation that turns her into Fleur-de-Lis. Increases the max stack limit of Arrow Erosion on targets within a certain range, so anything close by 3 stacks, meaning it goes from 3 stacks to 6. That is a big difference. This is a very powerful sequence, but it is not necessary. The next attack that directly deals damage after becoming Fleur-de-Lis inflicts 3 stacks of Arrow Erosion on all targets in a certain range and immediately triggers every stack of Arrow Erosion without consuming them, which is a lot of damage for free. The damage multipliers on Cartethyyia's basic, heavy, dodge counter and intro skill are increased by 50%, all very good. And the damage multiplier of her mid-air attack, which is something she uses a lot in Fleur-de-Lis, but specifically for Cartethyia, it's when she gets one of her swords and she jumps and slams it down. It's increased by 200%. After mid-air attack Cartethyia, every one type of sword shadow recalled reduced. So basically, her sword shadows are her heavy attack, her sequence 5 basic attack sword, and her resonance skill sword. And reduces basically up to 3 seconds cooldown on her resonance skill after that. The next one is her big one. This is very good because it gives you the extra stacks, but this next one frees her from shackles of other characters. She becomes a solo hyper carry main character. Basic attack Fleur-de-Lis stage 5, mid-air attack stage 2, which is something you want to use quite often, and enhanced basic attack Fleur-de-Lis on resonance skill, may the Tempest break the tides, which is again Fleur-de-Lis's resonance liberation, which she gets 2 stacks of. So basically she casts it twice, inflict 2 stacks of erosion. Any 3 of these gives them max stacks basically, and then just the damage of resonance lib as Fleur-de-Lis is up by 100%, or at least the multiplier of it is, which is huge. Again, this makes her heavily independent because she's very good now, even better so at applying her own arrow erosion, and she no longer needs anyone else to do it for her. Cartethyia and Fleur-de-Lis become strong, independent women who do not need no man. This one's not bad. Basically, whenever anyone on the team applies a debuff based on element, all resonators in the team gain a 20% damage bonus for all attributes for 20 seconds. Again, that's just a solid attack buff. When her 5th one's pretty good as well. When Cartethyia or Fleur-de-Lis takes a fatal blow, they will not be down by this instance of damage, but instead gain a shield equal to 20% of Cartethia's max health, which is about 10k for me. This effect can be triggered once every 10 minutes. The HP cost for casting Resonance Liberation and Night's Heartfelt Prayer, again, this is Cartethyia becoming Fleur-de-Lis, is reduced to 20%, 25%, effectively halving the HP cost of it, meaning rather than going down to 50% your health, you go down to 75%. Again, this is a colossal improvement in survivability. She didn't particularly struggle with it anyway, but yes, this helps a lot. Freedom found in the Storm's Wake. This is an insanely powerful one, but again, it's not even recommended, nor is it required. After casting Resonance Liberation, Blade of Howling Squall, this is Fleur-de-Lis's. Raise the arrow erosion stacks on the target to hit max, so basically if they have no stacks, this will instantly apply 6 to them. Casting this Resonance Liberation no longer removes any stacks, which is good for keeping DPS up. Within 30 seconds of casting an intro skill, either intro skill from either of them, casting Cartethia's Resonance Liberation or Fleur-de-Lis's Resonance Liberation, any Resonator in the team inflicts arrow erosion on the target. After doing any of that, any Resonator inflicting arrow evasion instantly afflicts. After casting either of those intro skills or Resonance Liberations, any Resonator in the team that afflicts arrow erosion onto target with a max stacks of 6 at this point immediately trigger the arrow erosion damage once. So it applies all of the stacks once to deal damage. But then also the target takes 40% more damage from Fleur-de-Lis, which is just... This doesn't apply to Cartethyia, I believe, but while in Fleur-de-Lis, which at this point you will be permanently in, or at least close to permanently swapping into her from Cartethyia, it is a lot of damage to get. So my thoughts on it, effectively, I think I said it earlier, basically I got to 3, I decided to do a random 10 pull, got to 4, decided to do another random 10 pull, got to 5, and then I figured I had to go all the way to 6 at that point and get a sick title for it. But yeah, what are my recommendations as someone who has S6 R1 Cartethyia, and do I recommend you going all out on her as well? Is she very good if you go all out on her? Yes, she is insanely powerful. I didn't have an aero unit. She fits that role. She is fiercely independent with S3. Would I advise you take her to S6? No, simply because you don't need to. If you want to, would I stop you? No, because that is your prerogative. I can't blame you if you do. I did the same thing and I'll never judge you for it. What are my recommendations? Her priority is her weapon. If you're going to go for that or an extra copy, go for the weapon. While every other weapon's good on it, this is just such a unique weapon that's perfectly tailored for her. But bear in mind, it's not going to be great for free-to-play players because it's not transferable to other characters unless we see more characters with HP buffs, which we may do. We're not sure yet, but yeah. Effectively, just this is probably her best option outside of Zirconia. I believe Zirconia, I apologise, I'm bad with names, gives a 50% increase, and this is also a 15% increase, so go either way. The character is usually better than the weapon, but it's completely up to your prerogative. Here, basically, her S1 is very good. S2 is her most notable one. Well, yeah, probably her most notable one because it increases the stack limit. Would I recommend you get S2? Yes, if you really like the character and you're going to main her, do that. If you're going to push for S2, it may be worth you pushing to S3 simply because she becomes fiercely independent and she can just become the main character. I have completed the towers. On the 2 towers, I used a Brant, Carlotta, Showkeeper team and a Havoc Rover, Rogueshire and Verena team for the 2 outer towers. On the hard and middle tower, I used just Cartethyia because Cartethyia is insanely strong. I'll put a clip at the beginning. It's just for fun. It's not power representation, but you see that she literally one-shot the Lioness with her ultimate alone, which is pretty funny. But yeah, my recommendation is weapon first, then S2 is priority, then S3. None of them are needed. I will repeat that again. None of them are required to beat the game. Only that they will make her incredibly strong and independent. So if you are going to main her, it might be worth looking at, but again, new characters are almost always better. So yeah, take my advice or don't. But I would say S3 is her biggest break point, where I'd probably leave her as someone who owns S6. But I'm not going to tell you how to play your thing. You don't need S2, 3 or 1. But yeah, you don't even need her weapon, she'll be fine without it. But they do make noticeable improvements to Cartethyia. That's obvious. Quality of life, power overall, it of course getting extra copies is going to increase that. So I'm going to leave that completely up to your thought process, whether you want to do that or not. If you want to get extra copies of her, I won't dissuade you, simply because she is very good and I am having a lot of fun with her. I will show you effectively, as you can see, the Death Defier. That is just a nice border. I've gone with that, just the name, blah blah blah. But yeah, I would recommend getting her if you want to, even if it's just a single copy of her. She is really good. I can't say that I wouldn't get her, but yeah, it's completely up to do what you do with your summons. I am not going to dissuade you or persuade you. Yeah, I just hope it's giving you a little bit of insight into her strength, that whether you want to do it, if it gives you a little bit of a run through of understanding her abilities and how her sequences work, basically. Another cute animation. But yeah, I have been the Gacha Grump. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. Tell me in the comments down below, did you pull Cartethyia, did you pull weapon or sequences? What do you think? How was the video? Tell me who your favourite character is. Tell me if who best wife is. Do you think it's Camellia? I really like Camellia, but I had to go with Cartethyia because I absolutely think she's one of the coolest characters. Her animations are astonishing. It's absolutely beautiful how good her animations look, especially her Resonance Liberation, the way that cuts the world, and you will see it at the longest distances of the map, this trail of her blade that's cut through that much of a distance, and it truly exemplifies how powerful she is. But yeah, thank you guys, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. I have been the Gacha Grump, I am out. Have a wonderful rest of your day and stay safe. Thank you guys, take care.